The big question that's on everyone's minds today, no, it's not how did Boris Johnson become Prime Minister of the UK, I mean, yeah, how did he become Prime Minister of the UK? But that's not the question we're actually talking about. We're going to talk about the 4.2 patch for Battlefield 5. Did it actually work? Did it help improve the game? The last few patches for Battlefield 5 have been frankly forgettable, and most of them have made the game worse instead of making the game better, but I have been playing all morning with this new update applied, and I've got some experience that I can talk to you guys about, and we can see whether this really did make the game better or not. The first thing that we can talk about is invisible soldiers. This was obviously the main focus of the entire patch, and it appears to be why DICE delayed it in order to really test out their fix. So, has it actually been fixed? Well, in the several games that I've played so far, I've not seen any floating heads, any floating arms or legs running around without torsos attached, which is a good sign. I will offer up that I've mainly been playing the rush game mode this morning, which does have less players than your standard conquest match, and therefore that could be having an effect on the bug. But I did also ask players in the chat if they'd noticed any cases of missing clothing items on enemy or friendly soldiers, and the people that did reply told me that they'd only been seeing normal, fully formed soldiers running around the battlefield. So, again, some good positive signs there. The patch notes yesterday, DICE used some rather clever language to describe their fix for this issue. They stated that extreme cases of invisible soldiers have been stamped out, but they would be monitoring closely after the patch to see if any smaller cases were lingering around. Now, purely in my own experience so far, I don't want to speak for anybody else here, I've not encountered any issues with soldier clothing rendering in. All this footage that you're watching now, it's been recorded since the patch went live this morning, so it's only a few hours old, and having watched it back, I can't see any issues that I might have missed during live gameplay. I'm not going to be the one to claim that the issue is 100% fixed, but I will say from my point of view, things have definitely improved. I did manage to find this clip here from a PS4 user who ends up shooting at a soldier who appears to have some sort of invisible stomach. You can see the torso, the arms, the legs, the head, they're all visible, so I'm not 100% sure if this is something to do with like the draw distance or if it is indeed another instance of the invisible soldier bug, but it is worth noting that this guy had heavy packet loss at the time that he experienced this bug on PS4, so that might have played into the issue as well. It's really quite hard to say. It is nice to be able to go into gunfights and be shooting at a fully formed soldier, and it's nice not being picked off by somebody invisible that you just didn't anticipate being there. I can't tell you how many times before this patch I was killed by a floating head in a bush, which makes it even harder to see soldiers that are already very difficult to see without any real form of spotting in the game. So I've got to say my gunplay and gameplay experience has definitely improved since the patch, and it's made me like the rush game mode even more in Battlefield 5, so it's kind of like a win-win so far. Invisible soldiers gone, rush game mode amazing, it just seems to be quite a good combination. Something else that was addressed in this patch, or at least it was included in the patch notes as a fix, was stuttering that occurred when you killed enemy players using tanks. Now, I haven't had a chance to test this out yet, but to be honest, I wouldn't be a great test subject for this one anyway. I barely use tanks at all in Battlefield 5. I'm mainly an infantry player, and if you've watched any of my previous videos, you will barely ever see any vehicle gameplay here on my channel. So, I'm going to wait for feedback from other community members like AKA Art, who are much more skilled tankers than I am, and therefore far more likely to notice that kind of stuttering anyway. The notes also stated that black screens when firing field cannons should have been eliminated as well, but once again, I wasn't experiencing that issue before the patch anyway, so I can't tell you if it's actually been fixed or not. That'll be one that you have to try out for yourself. The general performance here on PC seems to either be the same or slightly better than what it was before the patch. I'm running an RTX 2080 Ti graphics card and a Core i7 8700K in my rig, with all settings on low or off, with the resolution at 1440p and frames are capped at 144. You can see the frame counter in the top right hand corner. I've now got that on permanently in Battlefield 5 with a console command, so that'll be in every video that I make on the game moving forwards. And you can see that most of the time in this video and in this gameplay I've got for you, I am pulling in more than 100 FPS, which is great for general gameplay. Often it's above 120, and sometimes you can see it creeping up towards 140 in those less graphically demanding areas, which is even better for gameplay. Mind you, I'm still not 100% confident that performance is as good as it was back in March before the Firestorm game mode was added and all of the bugs started coming back into Battlefield 5, but it is nice to be playing the game at decent frame rates again, especially, as I've just said, with the Rush game mode. It's so frantic around those MCOM stations, you need all the frames that you can get to react nice and fast. So here on my PC, performance seems to be okay, but obviously your mileage may vary. I have seen a couple of people on Reddit claiming that the patch broke the game on Xbox One, only for them to do a hard reset and then the game work perfectly fine again, which to me, that sounds more like a platform issue rather than a game problem. If you are on the Xbox One and you update the game and then you're unable to sort of connect or matchmake into games properly, hard reset your console and try it again, and you should be good. For previous Battlefield patches, this has also been an issue. Hard resets always seem to fix the problem, so do that if you're experiencing any issues on the Xbox One and see if that fixes it. It fixed it for the guys over on Reddit, so you might as well give it a go. Now, I know it seems all very trivial that I'm making a video that's heavily nitpicking into these fixes that DICE has supposedly applied. It might seem just a little bit over the top, but at the moment, I just can't not make a video like this, because the last 4 or 5 patches, and that includes the 2 recent hotfixes as well, they haven't done what they said they were going to do, and they've hurt the game more than they've helped it. It's kind of like a naughty child that won't do what it's told. You, as the parent, then have to take them back to basics and build things back up again, and that's what DICE is essentially doing here. Battlefield 5 is the naughty child, and DICE is the adult, having to teach it how to behave properly again. Us guys and girls out here in the community, we're now going to be even more eagle-eyed watching what's happening between DICE and Battlefield 5. We're going to be scrutinising any changes under a microscope, looking for further issues, because we're just about fed up of them now, and we kind of expect them to be there. Our tolerance level for bugs and issues is pretty much at an all-time low for Battlefield 5 because of how frequent and prevalent they've become. And the only way we begin to regain any trust in the product is when the product shows signs of improvement. This patch appears to have improved the game, and it's removed an issue that could have been considered game-breaking, which is a good step in the right direction. But there is still quite a long way to go, and the DICE team needs to continue to prove that they can handle this product in the right way. The last few months, it seems like they've been running before they've learnt how to walk. And actions always speak louder than words. The words that EA and DICE have been saying for weeks now that improvements are on the way, they're only just starting to translate into action. The wider community isn't going to start patting DICE on the back for fixing one of the many issues that the game has. The community will only start to warm up to the game once again when they see issue after issue being squashed and remedied in a much more timely manner. At that point, people probably will start to believe and trust in the product again, and they'll turn their focus back towards content, and they'll probably start looking forward to that content in a much more positive way, rather than apprehensively waiting for the next patch to break the game and add more bugs into it. At the moment, it appears DICE did a good job with this patch. I just hope that they can take this small win and they can turn it into a big streak of wins, and they can return Battlefield 5 to a stable state and a fun state as well. I know that my experience of this patch so far hasn't been too bad. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it has been. DICE have surprised me by almost completely fixing this invisible soldier bug. I really didn't have that much faith, to be honest, but it's nice to be proven wrong. But I am interested in finding out how you feel the game is going at the moment, so leave your thoughts and opinion down below in the comments. Let me know if you've tried out the new patch, let me know if you haven't, and also tell me what platform you're playing on as well, so I've got some context to your opinions. I'd just like to get some general ideas about how you guys are feeling about Battlefield 5, and I've got a video idea that I'll maybe put some of those opinions into if I get round to making it, but I've got a lot of other things on the list of videos that I want to make at the moment, so I'll have to see how that goes. But besides all that, a big thank you for watching today, and until next time, my name is Westie, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.